Okay, I figured out my key to success. Now I'm locked in. I learned how to open doors like a locksmith.
Welcome back. You're now locked in with DK and Atwood. I'm Atwood. Killer to my left, DK. Take two. We're just 20 minutes into this, and I realized I wasn't recording. So, so that's awesome. We're back at it again. Special guest with us today out of Kurt Pellegrino's Academy in New Jersey. This man has a lot going on. A fireman, full-time fireman, UFC Featherweight, record of 7-2. 4 of those wins by submission via rear naked choke, 1 knockout, 2 unanimous decisions. Mr. Francis Fire Marshall for the second time.
For the second time. Oh man, we're like a bunch of amateurs here, you know,
dude. And, I'm sweating because like halfway through that, I was like, "Wait, did I hit record?"
So for you guys joining in, we just started the recording, and so we've been 20 minutes in on this interview.
I'm sorry, and
we're just now recording. So
so we'll just pick up where we left off, though. Yeah. DK, you have a history with Francis.
Yeah. So anyways, man, I've seen Francis, grow up from a kid into a stud. Now he's fighting in the UFC. And, I was telling him earlier, I was like, man, I'm like a fan on the couch, I'm like cheering him on, trying to coach from the couch, and I'm like, what you should do from here. You know what to do from here. I'm like, take the back, and all these other things. And when you knock that dude out, your first UFC fight, man, I just lost my shit.
Was that Is it Rojo or Rojo? How do you say it?
Rojo.
And you could tell, like, when you see Francis after the ref calls it, the excitement in this man. Like, you could tell it was a lifelong dream to get there, or maybe not a lifelong dream, but it had been a dream for some time, and that's when it manifested. That very second, you could just tell how happy. And that I would probably react the same way.
Oh, dude.
If not, I would probably cry.
Man.
I'd cry.
Oh, I think Francis was at one of my fights where I cried.
Really?
I knocked this dude out, man, and it was just I was training so hard. It was John Del Bruges at CFFC, and I couldn't even get on the mic to talk. Kurt had to like talk for me, and I was just pouring out, all my energy because I know how it is, man. I was driving up to Hoboken to work with Mickey, and driving back and driving to Kurt's, and just all over the place trying to make the best out of my training so I can be the best in the world, and Francis is literally doing almost the exact same thing. He trains with my old wrestling coach, Dan O'Cone. He trains with my old boxing coach, Mickey Red, and he trains with my old MMA coach, Kurt Pellegrino. So it's like wild to see him, his dreams are coming to fruition, what my dreams were, so it's good I kind of live through you, my man. So you're doing a lot for a lot of people, so everybody's looking up to you.
I appreciate DK.
Yeah, man. So, but it's been a pleasure to see, man. Wrestling in New Jersey is not easy. That's where I learned when I went to move to Jersey, bro, I was getting crushed by everybody up there. My wrestling sucked so bad. My jiu-jitsu was all right, so my jiu-jitsu wasn't too bad. So I would, I'd get taken down and I'd have to, slap on a triangle or something like that. But with Francis, he's just, with Kurt, and it's just so awesome, to see. What made you want to start wrestling? Just to be better?
Yeah, it was more Kurt's idea because like the tournaments I would go to, I would have success in some, and then some I would get like super nervous and like kind of shut down. Like I wouldn't open up and do everything I could in the tournament. Like I wouldn't perform to my ability that I would do in the gym. So Kurt was like, all right, wrestle, you're going to be competing 3 times a week for 3 months. You're going to get used to the competition, used to the people watching you and stuff like that. So in that aspect, it really helped out with jiu-jitsu and fighting with the whole competition feel.
Yeah, it helped like kind of loosen up the butterflies a little bit, doing it so often, right?
And making weight so often, competing, not only just competing, but in front of people, in front of crowds. It's always the nervous thing. Like, I don't want to screw up in front of all these people. I don't want to lose, but you're going out there 3 times a week. You kind of just forget about that.
Yeah. Cause wrestling in Jersey, people down here, down South, they don't understand, man, how big it is up there. Like it's like football on Friday night, you know, here in the South. So wrestling definitely weighs a big deal down there. So You kind of did something in your wrestling career too that a lot of people don't do. Your first year, you made it to states, yeah.
Yeah, first year I made it to states, and then the second year, one districts, one regions, and then kind of shit the bed at states that year. I should have
Yeah,
lost.
but I mean, dude, 2 years of wrestling experience and you're making it in states with kids that have been wrestling since they were 5 years old. Like
Yeah, it was kind of it was crazy to see like not only my junior year, where my first year where I started, and I was started off terrible. Like I wasn't good in the beginning at all. Like I got beat by some kid who was pretty bad. And then like towards the end of the season, I made it to states. I was beating kids that I had no business beating. And then from the junior season to my senior season was like a whole another level. Like I felt completely more comfortable. I felt like I was actually getting better. Like I was good by then. And then I started beating more kids that I probably really should have had no business beating in the first place. But it was a great experience, and I'm definitely grateful for it.
yeah, man, I bet so. Because wrestling at states in New Jersey, dude, like you're down there, in Atlantic City, dude, man, it's pretty wild to see. So if you ain't listeners out there, just Google, New Jersey State Wrestling Championships, and you'll see what it looks like.
Yeah,
It's pretty intense. But
packed,
what's that?
packed out there, especially like the finals. You get like 10. I mean, you used to before it was online, but you get like 10, 12,000 people watching. Now, I mean,
Which
there's
is
a lot, but
Yeah, which is unreal for a high school kid.
Yeah. 10, 12,000 people. That's
Yeah, dude.
crazy.
Yeah. So from there, man, you just started. How's boxing going for you?
boxing's good. It's probably been one of my favorite things I kind of picked up in the last since I started fighting, like where I've noticeably gotten better and more comfortable of like standing and trading with guys and punching. But I feel like it also took in the last I don't know 2 fights maybe took a little bit away from what got me to where I was, which was my wrestling and my jujitsu. So it's like I've been kind of now trying to blend more back into my wrestling and jujitsu, where
Yeah.
the last 2 fights I kind of just focused, especially in training. I was doing so much stand up, just worried about punching people and whatnot. I kind of got away from what originally got me to where I was.
Yeah, I know the feeling, my man. And
Yeah,
the same thing happened to me when I went to Jersey. And you have a guy like Mickey Red, and you're just like, you know, he makes it feel right. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, man, it feels good knocking people out. And then you want to keep on knocking people out, but it's so hard to knock somebody out.
right.
Like, you've had how many knockouts in your professional career?
One out of
One.
nine,
How many submissions?
four.
Yeah. So like with me, I've knocked out maybe two or three people, out of in my career, but I've submitted 9 people.
Right.
Right. Like, so it's, you get, and you want to like do the fun thing, and and it makes you feel like you're working hard and stuff like that when you're doing a hard mid session and a hard training session. But it's like, yeah, you kind of lose focus of what really got you to where you are
Yeah.
a lot of times because you fall in love with learning.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you want to chase that knockout, and then when you chase it, it's almost like it never happens. You can never. It just when you're not looking for it, it happens, and then when you're chasing it and really trying to force it, it's just never get that right punch.
You're exactly right, dude. You're so right because I think when I knocked out John Del Bruge at that CFFC fight when I was crying, I wasn't looking for the knockout. I thought me and this dude were going to grapple. He was a good grappler, and I thought he was going to try to take me down, and I was just ready for that. Next thing you know, I'm like, oh my god, just the same exact reaction that you had in the UFC. So it's like, I get it to where you like feel comfortable and you like get in the zone, and and you're learning more and you're getting better at it and stuff, and you're like kind of embrace that. And fortunately for me, it's like, you know, I fell in love with wrestling and boxing when I was up there in New Jersey. So it's like, it's doing those 5:30 a.m. workouts with Dan. I still hold a special memory in my head.
Yeah, it's tough, man. So I don't know. It's like you got to try to find the balance, but you want to up your game from where you were. Which I mean, I guess someone's strong suit say is always going to be at one spot, like jujitsu, but then you want to get better at boxing, say, and then you start doing boxing more, and jiu-jitsu falls off. So you got to kind of find
Yes.
keep jiu-jitsu up high, and you can build your boxing at the same time.
Absolutely, man. I try to tell myself, I'm like, you got to always be doing jujitsu, man. Always be doing jujitsu because like it's kind of close, really close to fighting anyways. It's like you need to smoke these dudes in the UFC and the higher level. If you out grapple them, you will beat them
Yeah.
100%. So it's a wild balance that we have to have.
That's why I fell off before my last fight too. Like I was working with Lester with like kicks and stuff like that. So he would come in at whatever 6 or 6:30 during the gi class, and I'm like, all right, I don't need to train gi jujitsu. I'll be fine. Whatever. Let me hit mitts. I'll do kickboxing for an hour, and then I would just skip out on the gi jujitsu. And then looking back on it, it's like really should have been hitting those sessions more, but living you learn.
Yep, you're exactly right, man. You just learn from it, and that's what makes us better, dude. You're still young, and you still have a long way to go in this career, in this lifetime, and so. But
Right.
anyways,
Yeah, I mean, he is so young. I mean, he could have another 35 fights in his career.
you could, man.
There's
Man.
there's no telling. I mean, listen, you might be 34 fighting, but still, like that's a long, lengthy career.
Yeah, dude.
No, I'm not saying that's something you want to do. Like
Yeah, I didn't make it to like a big show until I think I was like 28 or 29 when I made it to Bellator. You're 24 years old in the UFC, dude. Like,
right.
you think if you're in the UFC for 10 more years, just imagine you have 3 fights a year.
3 to 4, yeah.
You could definitely get a lot more fights in. And dude, the wealth of knowledge and experience. Look at Jim Miller. He fought he's still fighting in the UFC for 11, 12 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Cowboy fought
Cowboy
for a long time. That dude had like 50 something fights.
Yeah. And dude, you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. You're doing the recovery stuff, like you're doing the ice baths, which we talk about on here. How's that going?
I was going great until it broke, so I just had to get a kind of a new. It was leaking bad every time.
Oh man,
like 2 days. So they sent me a new chiller for it, so I got to set that up now. But it was going really good, and then I kind of fell off when that happened.
So it was leaking, and it kind of and it fried it, or what?
No, I didn't even fry it. It was just like it would drain it down, like almost to empty in a day or two. So it was like by the time I filled it up, got it cold again, it would be drained.
Shit, dude. Do they sponsor you or what?
No sponsorship there.
Oh, that suck.
Yeah, but the insurance never covered it. If you could buy the insurance and whatever.
Yeah, because I've been looking at them too, man, because it's just such a pain in the butt, man. Like once I load all the ice and everything in and break it up, and I'm like, do I really want to get in this thing right now?
It sucks.
Yeah.
And
so
going back to the recovery real quick, in today's era, there's a lot of methods that are used for recovery now that they didn't have back then, like in the Cowboy day or the Jim Miller when they started. So I think that could possibly lead to longer
longevity
careers. Yeah, longevity in the future. So
you just got to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like getting in the ice bath, you're doing that yourself, and that helps you mentally so much. What I talk about, man, fighting that battle where the urge to where you're physically hurting and want to get the hell out of that ice.
After the first 30 seconds, I feel like it's a coast, but the first 30 seconds of just getting in there and get that initial shock out of the way that's the worst part.
Yeah, you're doing it early, like 5, 6 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, when I have work, I try to hit it before I have to go because then I'm not going to be home all day. So I'll try to hit it before then. Sometimes I was waiting until the afternoon, warm up a little bit outside, and get in, but it don't matter.
Do you got a sauna as well?
No sauna. I'm lacking on that one.
Yeah, that's all right, dude. Well, good thing that you can do is like what I like doing is for a contrast recovery is jumping in the tub in the ice, and then you go and you jump in a hot shower, and then you go back into the ice and then go back into the hot shower. You do that 3 times, dude. It kind of drives out everything. And it's a pain in the ass getting back in the ice after you're all warmed up.
I got to try that one.
Yeah, look up like contrasting contrasting showers or contrasting ice bath, and you go back and forth, man, it's the next step.
Right, I'm gonna have to look into that because I was doing the there's like a banya by my house, kind of like a Russian sauna place.
Yeah.
Saunas, they have like 2 saunas and a steam room, and then they have the cold plunge and like a hot tub. So I'd go there, I'd hit like the Russian sauna and then hop in the cold to go back in the sauna.
Oh,
Back,
then there, yeah, that's it, man. That's you. It's almost as it's the same thing. Yeah, that contrast going back and forth to the hot and cold
right,
it helps a ton. So you're already on top of that, man. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't do that, that I talk about all the time is like you got to do the things that not everybody else is willing to do.
right.
And and you're putting forth those efforts, getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and jumping in the water that's freezing cold, dude. That's not everybody wants to do that.
No, it's freezing cold outside to begin
I don't know
with.
if anybody wants to really do that, dude. I know I won't. Fuck
Dude,
that, bro. I'm out.
it's a struggle, bro. So it's like I talk about it all the time. So it's like it's cool to watch your stories, man. And I see the things that you're doing, and I'm like, yep, he's doing the right things. And I shoot you messages and tell you that as well. So you need to hear it, man. And so you just keep your head focused, and I think you're on your way. You know what I'm saying? So you're
I
doing a lot of the right things.
Yeah, he was just trying to stay on the right path and then build those to some wins. Keep it going.
Yeah. So let's talk about Coach O'Cone. How do you know Coach O'Cone?
Oof, I know him from through Kurt, through the gym, through Kurt, and I've known him for a while now, probably since he's always had like that. Always been like I feel like scared of him. Always like scared of Dan.
The aura that
Yeah,
man holds.
not like he's scary, but he's just very. I feel like I don't know. He scares me more than Kurt scares me.
He's very matter of fact,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So for you guys that don't know, our phone's ringing at the academy right now. But anyways, for people that don't know, Coach O'Cone is he's a 2-time New Jersey State Wrestling Coach of the Year, maybe even more than that. But when I met him, he was 2-time New Jersey State Wrestling Coach of the Year, was old wrestling coach for Brick Memorial High School, and now he's a principal. Yeah.
yeah. I think he's a principal at one of the elementary schools over there.
Yeah. And his cauliflower ear is serious, dude. Like it's worse than mine. He's got some gnarly stuff.
Really?
Yeah. What'd you say?
Both of them, both ears on him.
Yeah, both of his ears. And so the story is whenever you would tell Coach O'Cone about your ears hurting or something, he would make it even worse and twist your ears. I've heard stories of him holding kids up against it and punching them in the ears.
Oh my God, dude.
So Kurt told me about him.
I'd be scared of him too.
And you just hear these stories of him. But when you train with him, he doesn't want you to go 100% during your matches or during your training. It's just perfect practice makes perfect is all he's saying. Perfect practice makes perfect. He just wants you to do the drill over and over and over 100,000 times perfectly. Is he still that way?
That's pretty much spot on. Yeah, and don't need to go hard. Just very technical drilling. Drill big, and just stick with the basics, same moves, and just drill it 1,000 times.
Dude, I've drilled pummeling millions of times with him, dude. Pummeling and turning, pummeling and turning, pummeling and turning, pummeling to a double leg, pummeling to an arm drag, dude, pummeling to a Polish step.
Everything. Yeah.
Everything, dude.
Consistent.
So it's constant, consistent. So like nowadays, I'm like always perfect practice makes perfect. And I got that directly from that guy, man. And so it's just awesome to see.
Yeah, no, he's great. Definitely great coach. Good to have for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely like to have the corners that you have, with the boxing coach, Mickey Red, was with the Turo Gotti, a legend. And then you have Coach O'Cone, who's a legend in New Jersey. And then you have Kurt Pellegrino, who's a legend in the UFC and in New Jersey. It just makes you feel like you got a little bit of extra armor around you, I don't know if it does for you.
Yeah, no, it definitely helps with the confidence. You have all the right people around you. Everyone is somebody. It's not like you're getting some Joe Schmo coach that never fought or never really trained themselves is trying to tell you what to do. They've all been in there. They've all had experience at the high level before me. So it definitely makes me feel more comfortable going in and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. I remember the feeling of like me walking out, dude, and just knowing I got the stud crew. I got the stud corner, man, you know? So it's cool to see, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, 100%.
What point in your life where you're like, all right, I want to be a fighter?
I had to have been 14, I guess, because it was about 6 months or 7 months probably into me training. I think it was when George fought in AC. I think it might have been you, George, and Lester, or it was the one before that when he fought. I think it was Bradley Becker, maybe, but he won that fight, and then ever since then, I was like, oh, I watched all the fights that night or whatever, and kind of got into it. I was like, oh, I want to fight when I get older. And then fighting became into I want to fight into the UFC, became into I want to be a top contender in the UFC, became I want to be a UFC champion. So just gradual steps, the goals changed along the way, but it's always kind of the same.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's so awesome, dude.
Yes. So go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
So you decide you want to be a fighter. And then what? How many amateur fights do you have before you go pro?
I had five amateur fights, and then I had my first pro one. So I had my first two when I was still in high school. Actually, I was a senior. It was right after wrestling season.
Oh, right on. And
yeah,
I think earlier when I wasn't recording, did you say your first pro fight was in 2019? Was that
29? Yeah, November of 19, right before COVID, kind of.
So this is all kind of progressed for you rather quickly. I mean, fighting professionally. Well, you said that you were fighting in high school, right? Amateur, but professional starting in 2019, and you're 3 fights deep now into the UFC. Like, how is explain to us like how the past year has been for you?
Man, the past year, it feels like so long ago. Like when I look back at it now, I just like this time last year, I was preparing for my fight in Florida, my first UFC fight. It was after my contender series. I was riding that high in the contender series, and then going into this fight, I was pretty nervous for this one too. Like first UFC fight in front of I don't know 10,000 people. The arena held maybe 20 in Florida, whatever it is.
Yeah, man.
Just like thinking about that constantly, just the nerves going into that is like, am I ready for this? Did I? Because then you start getting caught up with the people online, like reading the, whatever, when they watch your fights,
breakdowns and shit like that. Yeah.
Stuff that I get caught up, like doesn't move his head enough, can't finish, doesn't know when to, whatever. So then you get caught up in that. I'm like, oh shit, maybe I'm not ready for this. Am I right? Maybe I should. But I mean, at the end of the day, it worked out for that one. So
you said it was in Florida, your first UFC?
Orlando.
In Jacksonville? Oh, it was Orlando. Right on. What card was that?
Was that Holland and Stephen Thompson, Kevin Holland?
Oh, wow. So you've been on it then. Like you've been pretty damn active because that fight wasn't that long ago.
No, a year ago, dude.
Yeah. So do you have another fight that's in the works yet, or are you kind of just waiting on the call?
Not yet. I'm just waiting to hear back now. I mean, I've been trying to stay, active kind of my whole career. Like I fought in November, got hand surgery. November 19 got hand surgery, then fought again, was scheduled to fight again in March, and then COVID happened, whatever. And then I fought the following year, March, May, August, and then a couple fights fell through that were supposed to happen that winter. And then I fought in February, then I got hurt, and then I fought in August, December, April, August, and then I was trying to ideally plan something for the end of this year, but nothing came out of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only thing you can do as a fighter is just stay
ready, man. Yeah. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, dude. And, you do it all the time.
Yeah, that's what I try to just stay in shape, go off the diet a little bit on the weekends, enjoy a little bit, but ultimately trying to stay in that weight range and staying in that shape range too.
Any other sports that you participated in besides wrestling growing up?
I played football my whole life till my junior year. I mean, I played my junior year, and that was the last year I played. But football was my my first love. I wanted to be NFL running back. I realized I was 5'9".
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that worked out for you, my man. I don't think you had to put on about 50 more pounds, bro. Like
5 more.
minimum 50
Oh,
pounds.
did you say you were a running back?
Yeah.
Oh,
Running
yeah,
back.
you had to put on more than 50.
What'd you run a 40 in?
I don't know. Probably.
Oh man.
DK will get to talking about his football days sometimes.
Dude,
Well, he'll be
I
in the
still
middle of giving
remember-
instruction. He'll be like, I remember when I played
Man,
football.
yeah.
I had this little, what was it? What kind of car did you have?
I had a Honda Prelude.
Yeah, you were always
Yeah,
talking about
Prelude.
having that and bumping your Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
And everything else, dude.
Yeah, songs come on the at the academy when we're listening to rolling and stuff. I was like, man, I remember like rolling in my Prelude listening to this song. Oh well, man.
So, being a firefighter, we kind of talked about this earlier when I wasn't recording. So you said you work 24 hours and you're 3 days off, right?
Yeah.
How long have you been a firefighter?
About 3 years now. 3 years I've been up
Okay.
there. Yeah.
And so your nickname being Fire, right? Tell us how you got that nickname.
I got that on the Contender Series as I was I guess walking in. Bisbing birthed it on the air. So
he was dude, he was like, Francis Fire Marshal. You're welcome, Francis. It's like
guy either. Never had a nickname. I was cool with not having one, and then kind of just threw me that one.
Yeah, same with me, man. Like I didn't have a nickname either, and I got just DK somehow because everybody just calls me DK.
Right.
Yeah, so I just went with it.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna have a nickname and you got a legend like Michael Bisping that gives it to
dude.
you live on ESPN Plus,
Bam, it's
I'm
gonna
taking
stick.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just sticks with it right there. Bam.
Hell
yeah.
Yeah, can't change it now.
No. So before that, though, did you ever think of like nicknames and what you would have?
Nothing. Never even thought of it.
No.
Nah, I was cool with just being me. Francis Marshall, no nickname, don't need it. And then unfortunately I got gifted one.
What about you, DK? I know you thought of some nicknames, dog.
Dude, I thought of a lot of them, bro. Like I wanted to be the Carolina Strangler because I was good at triangle chokes and I was from Carolinas.
Dude, that sounds like a serial killer,
right?
The
Yeah,
Carolina Strangler.
How's that sound? What do you think?
I think it's a killer, but I feel like you should have kept that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that one.
Like
that's dope.
What's that?
You're fighting the Carolina Strangler? That's scary.
That is, dude. I'm like scare some people off.
Yeah.
They wouldn't want to fight me.
It just sounds like something you'd see. Well, these days, not in the newspaper, but if it's back in the day on like a newspaper, thought to be hanging out at Broadway at the beach on Saturday night.
The Carolina Strangler.
Yeah, like taking somebody home from Senior Frogs or something. You know what I mean? Like
Carolina Strangler.
Yeah, man. So I thought about that one. I actually had a mouthpiece made that had the Strangler across it. It just said Strangler on it. Yeah. So didn't stick.
I'm never gonna be able to unhear that, dude.
Hey, man. Maybe I'll make a comeback one day.
Make that name.
Yeah, they're gonna come up with like an old man's group. It's gonna be 40 and older MMA.
Man,
it's
good idea.
old washed up MMA fighters, that are trying to.
I think they're all doing bare knuckle.
They're all doing bare knuckle. Yes.
Isn't that nuts? Like
it is
you're getting older and you go do something that's in ways more extreme
and dangerous,
right?
Yeah.
Or like Fabricio Verdum and Dos Anjos
MMA.
Yeah, bare knuckle MMA.
Did you see that?
I see they have it in Mississippi, right? For Masvidal's thing.
Yeah. So Dos Anjos and
Verdum.
Fabricio Verdum both fought bare knuckle MMA, man.
It's crazy. That's too much.
Too much, dude. They're like the whole time I'm like, man, there's gonna be a knockout with those two dudes, and it ended up going to a decision. I was just like, it was very lackluster. I was not impressed.
I mean, it's kind of scary. Punch. I feel like you got to be worried about breaking your hands every time you throw a punch now. No gloves.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you've broken your hand. How'd you break your hand?
I think I heard it in one of my fights. Tore a tendon in one of my fights, and then this one is hurt right now. It hurts when I punch still, so that's always.
Do you got any knuckle guards?
Yeah, they don't work. So
What? You got the winning ones?
got the winning ones. It's not even the knuckle, it's just the tendon. So every time it hits,
Oh, yeah. So it's like on top of is it on top of your knuckle though?
yeah, it's like right in here.
Yes. Yep. I had the same thing on my right hand. That's your left, right?
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
right original surgery. I got too many.
Yeah.
So what's that like? What was the turnaround time on that? You said that was after your last fight?
The surgery?
Yeah.
No, that was after my first pro fight. So that was in November of 2019. And then
What about the tendon?
this one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, that's the one I meant. Yeah.
Nothing. Didn't do anything for it.
Just kind of grit your teeth and deal with it, huh?
Yeah, I heard it in March. It was pretty bad, and then I fought. I couldn't spar for like 6 weeks before that fight in April, and then I just never got it fixed. So now
one thing you can do, man, is try ice bath with just your hand. So like put your hand in ice and kind of move it around for like 5 minutes or whatnot, and then kind of take it out,
right,
get it warmed back up and stuff. And that might help a little bit, dude. I don't know if you're doing that already.
No, I haven't been doing that. Mickey was telling me to do like the rice, put it in the rice, and then build it back and then just work it like that. But I haven't got to that one.
Yeah, rice or sand.
Rice and yeah.
How does that work with the UFC? Like, say you get hurt in a fight. I mean, I'm glad I thought of this because this is something I've wondered for a while. Is there some sort of insurance where like they help pay for your medical bills, or how does that work?
In the fight, yeah, they cover 100%. So if you get hurt in the fight, they cover the whole thing, which is nice. But in training, I don't think they if I got hurt training for a fight, I don't think they cover any of it.
Well, right, yeah.
That's
man.
Yeah, and then you got to get cleared, right? Then you got to get cleared and all this other stuff if you get hurt too. So
then you
got to get
doctors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If that were me, I hurt myself in training, but I still fight afterwards. As far as they're concerned, that should happen during the fight.
For
sure. That should happen during the fight.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, man, about this.
Yeah. My meniscus, it's completely gone. Oh, no, I definitely did it in that fight. I didn't do it 10 years ago.
Yeah. So, also, man, tell us how's it been like having Kurt in your corner? And Kurt being your coach and having somebody with his amount of experience. Because honestly, dude, you and Kurt he's been around you. You've been doing privates with Kurt since you were a kid.
Yeah, probably 10 years now. 10 years, I think.
Yeah. So it probably started off as him being like a normal coach figure to you, and he's kind of turned into a little bit more than that, right?
Right. Yeah, it kind of started out like more of just he's gonna do private lessons with this kid. And then, I kept showing up, kept coming, doing them for years. And then kind of just built more of a relationship on a personal level outside the gym even. And then ever since then, it's just continued to get better. We've obviously had our ups and our downs together, but, at the end of the day, he's my coach. He's more like family now than I consider him a coach. But it's just been great with all his knowledge that he has, like fighting. He could watch. I swear to God, he's like Rain Man. He can't do anything else except
he can't spell mustard or anything like that. But yeah.
Well, the fighting and or wrestling and just breaking down tape, like he could sit there, I could show him a fight, he'll break it down and tell me what this guy's good at, what he's gonna try to do, what he can do. I'll watch the same fight and just be like, wow, it looks pretty good. I can't do. I don't understand how he does it, but he's able to always come up with a game plan that works, and just as long as you stick to it, come out with the wins.
Yeah, man. He had a really good game plan. When I was fighting Marcin Held, we knew Marcin Held was going to be trying to do rolling heel hooks and trying to come up underneath me and trying to attack my heel legs. And he was like, he's going to be trying to, look for your legs. So kick him in the head, just throw high kicks. And I'm like, I sucked at throwing high kicks, bro. Like I was like I will just like doing boxing, you know, and I sucked at kicks, but man, it kept him away. It kept him away with the high kicks, high kicks, high kicks, and I just listened to him and kept circling, circling. Either way, good. It didn't help the results of the fight, but I still kept him from kind of shooting in and kind of doing that stupid shit to where he was going to try to spin underneath with the worries of getting kicked in the face, you know, when he tries to do that. So that was something that I always remembered, you know, about him, and having him. And, you know, when I'm back, you know, I'm looking at the other person, and, you know, before you walk in there, Kurt's, you know, all these other guys, they hug and they do things before you go in. And with Kurt, we don't hug before going in there. Hey, boom, see ya. We're going in. So
Right.
it's like, it's wild, man.
And you don't do that with any of your
I don't
guys?
do that with any of
Yeah.
my guys either. Yeah, we don't hug.
No hugs. There to
No
fight.
hugs. There to fight. You're exactly right, man.
That's the same with you, Francis, in your corner, because Kurt is in your corner. You guys don't hug, none of that. It's just boom in.
Just walk out, get the Vaseline on, and go in. No hugs, nothing.
I've seen people do some weird shit right there. Like, just like, look at Clay
It's
Guida, it's
fucking
like whack, whack,
ridiculous,
whack,
man.
whack, 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 getting
It's
slapped
ridiculous.
up and shit. Like, I mean, some people might wake them up, but I don't know.
Some people like it and they feel like, oh man, I'm like, what the fuck are we doing, man? What are we doing hugging?
Like, enough waiting. Just let's go.
Yeah, dude. It's like I ain't trying to embrace you right now, man. I want to just punch this dude's head through my fist through his skull.
That
you
was
know?
Tender series was nice because we ran out. There was no introductions, no music. Like, he came out, I came out, got the Vaseline, got in. You good, fight. No,
Wow, dude. That would be wild.
it was great. I
And
loved
you
it.
fought in the Apex too. How's that like, you know, with no crowd?
Oh, it's fucking horrible. There's no
Yeah.
energy. Like,
I
no,
was thinking the same thing, dude.
it's like, I mean, it's worse than training. Training, at least you got like background noise, you got other people, like an environment. There, it's just like you could hear a pin drop. And
Yeah,
it's
it's your last two fights have been there, right?
the last two have been there.
Yeah. Yeah, I can only imagine, dude. So it's just like all you can hear is like people, your friends cheering for you, huh?
Right. You could just, it's, literally dead. You could hear the announcers. That's how quiet it is.
Damn.
And they're talking mad shit. Like, I don't know what Francis is doing here at this point in time. And you're like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Really get up. I'm like, thanks. I know that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna get up now.
Yeah.
What is the Apex like? Like, I mean, we were just talking about, you know, in terms of being no crowd, but the place as a whole, like, because it's not just a room with an octagon. I mean, they have like a whole training facility and stuff there, right?
Yeah, they got a boxing ring in the back, like a bunch of weights and like treadmills and stuff like that, and mat area, a huge like turf strip in the back, and then they got some locker rooms. There's like an upstairs with like offices, I think, and stuff like that. But really, not. It's literally built just kind of to have fights and training, whatever. But yeah,
Is that the one that they put up during COVID?
they
Or was
opened.
it up before then?
I think it was up before them, but I think they opened it for during COVID for like fights and stuff.
Right
Yeah.
on.
Is that where you did the contender series too?
Yeah, yep, that's where I had the contender.
Oh, cool.
So describe to us getting the call for that contender series, right?
Yeah,
Like,
did Kurt get the call, or did you get the
Kurt
call,
got-
or
Email, and then he called me and told me, and I was like, oh,
how'd that interaction go? Because I know when I got my Bellator contract, I know
I've heard this
that
story.
I know the way that conversation went. So I want to hear yours.
he was like, I don't remember the whole thing. It was kind of like, all right, you got the whatever fighting on you're fighting the UFC. I was like, what? He's like, got the contender series. I was like, oh, great. That's not the UFC. It's not the UFC. Like, it's a UFC fight. It's not. It's contender series. If I lose UFC, he's like,
Yeah.
Fight in the UFC. It's run by the UFC. It's a UFC fight. No, it's the contender series. And he's like, all right, whatever. And then
Wow. So yeah, yours definitely didn't go like mine. So mine went, I was like at work. I was in the Air Force, you know. And so I'm out in the middle. You know where Lakehurst is?
yeah,
Yeah. So I was out at Lakehurst, dude, out on the base there. and I was in a bus, and we were cleaning up. There was a big, exercise that we just did for some guys. It's rainy outside. I want to say it's like, man, I can't. It was kind of winter time, maybe February, March, because I fought in May. And he calls me up, and he's like, "Hey," he's like, "How much do you love me?" I'm like, "I love you. What's going on?" He was like, "No." He's like, "Tell me you love me." I'm like, "I love you, Kurt. What's going on?" He was like, "I got you a 3-fight deal in Bellator." I'm like, I'm just screaming on this. I'm the only one on this bus because I think I can't remember if I was cleaning it out or it's getting something happened, but I was the only one on this bus, and I was just like, "Yeah, they're gonna do," So it's just wild. But that's the way he is. He's like, "Tell me how much you love me. Tell me I'm the best."
Tell me I'm the best.
He always likes that reassurance that he's the best. Classic Kurt.
So what were you doing? Do you remember exactly what you were doing whenever you got the call from Kurt?
I don't remember the specifics. I mean, I was definitely home, whether I was in the garage working out or I was just sitting in my room. But it was when I had my knee injury still, so I wasn't like fully cleared, and I still kind of had hope that I was gonna fight in May. I was like, all right, just fine. I won't train. I'll just get my weight down. I'll do a bunch of cardio. I won't spar, and then I'll still fight. And then that happened, so I was like, all right, I guess I'm not even fighting in May now.
Well, sweet, man.
How much later was it after, whenever you got the call that you fought
It was
for the
time. I think they told us in April, and I didn't fight till August. So it was like 16 weeks, I think.
Shit, dude.
That's
Yeah.
ample time to prepare there.
Oh yeah, that's way more time than you
Than you would want?
in my opinion,
really?
because you're gonna be training your balls off for 16 weeks now because
I started my diet for that one 12 weeks out, and I was already in pretty good shape because I was on a diet from the fight where I got hurt. I pulled out.
Yeah.
So I was already kind of like lean shape. And then I started my diet 12 weeks out. I think by 4 weeks out from the fight, I was burnt. I was like toast. My body was like getting tired quick. I was like,
been there.
Yeah, like too much dieting. I was too lean at the time. Like I had no energy. It was
Sometimes when you get a fight so far out, you want to go ahead and start preparing for it. And your body's got to peak at a certain time.
Yeah.
You only got, I mean, it's really hard to do. And Kurt did it as well. Kurt did a 12 or 16-week fight camp once, and he had a really bad, I think he ended up getting sick during that. This is during the UFC. And, so I've always remembered that story from him, and I've always kind of followed those guidelines. And, I did a 12-week camp, I think, for Felipe Nova, and, I had a terrible weight cut, and, didn't show up to the fight because of that, I think. So, it's just, it can play havoc on you, have no one too early for a fight. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I'm at the sweet spot now. I usually do 10 weeks. I'll start cleaning up the diet. If I find out early enough, I'll start cleaning up the diet a little bit around 12, but not full. And then 10 weeks, I'll start hitting it hard because I figure like it's really a 9-week training camp if you start 10 weeks out, because that is just weight cut and you're not really doing much. So I feel like it works best for me with getting down in weight, getting leaner, and getting in good shape.
So what do you normally walk around at?
Out of camp, I try to stay below 170. So like I'll bounce between like 66 and 69, 65 and 70-ish in that range. Because once you hit above a certain weight, it's kind of just makes it that much harder to get back down, and you're focused too much on the weight rather than training. It's just easier just to stay in shape.
100%. You got it, kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you just touched on a little bit, but we've talked before about weight cuts that you've had to do, and just ways of getting the weight off that probably aren't
ways of getting the weight off that aren't the best. So it's wild, man, but it's good to hear, man, so that you're kind of already ahead of that game.
I'm excited to see you to fight again, especially now that we've had this discussion and got to, I guess, meet or whatever. It always makes it more interesting when it's somebody that you
know and interact with,
right? That is fighting.
When Francis is fighting, I'm freaking fighting, man. You know, I'm in there. I feel the same exact feelings. Probably not that you feel, but definitely the same feelings that Kurt feels, the same feeling that Dan O'Cone feels, and the same feelings that Mickey feels. Like I'm right there in the corner with him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like it's crazy to,
Makes it a little more personal.
100% it does, man. Yep.
Yeah, it's just like when I've watched Joe fight, that's whenever he was fighting Jim Miller the whole time, like it's not like I know shit. Like I would never if somebody was fighting and they were listening to what I'm saying, like I pray for you. Don't listen to me, but I'm over here and he's fighting Jim Miller and I'm like,
yelling.
don't do that. Don't do that. He's known for his grappling. Oh, but he can hit too. He's got power. I'm over here like screaming at the TV. So yeah, it's definitely a different ball game when you know the person, even on a local level.
Yeah, sure.
Watching people that train here fight. It's very cool, man. It's one of the things I like the most. About watching combat sports, MMA, even Ethan. Like I was hitting you up this weekend.
Yeah,
like, how do I watch Ethan compete? And you're like, oh, it's not on Flow. Well, fuck. Like, no, I can't watch it.
Yeah.
By the way, Ethan, if you're watching this, congrats. What was it? Charlotte Open?
Charlotte Open, yeah.
JJF,
brown belt.
Yeah.
Featherweight champ.
So but yeah, man, like I look forward to the next couple of months.
I look forward to your future as well, man. So you got any sponsors you want to shout out?
No, I mean, All for One Coffee Company. I've been working with them a little bit since probably about May. They've been helping me out, but otherwise, it's pretty much it. Nothing.
Cool. So if any sponsors out there, you guys need to sponsor Francis Fire Marshal. Guys on his way.
Flood the DM.
You need to come out with your own hot sauce, bro.
Poirier took it. I'm not a hot sauce guy.
Yeah. Maybe you guys get. Hey, Kurt has a direct link with Poirier. Just hit him up, man. I think. Did you guys train together did you meet him when you went down to ATT?
No, he was there. He was in. They were in Ireland for one of the guys' fights out there. So
cool.
But I'm going back down there next week, and then back in November.
Sweet. How long are you going next week for?
Next week I'm doing just a week, and then November I'm doing 2 weeks, and then whenever I get a fight, I'm gonna do probably the whole 8 weeks down there.
Cool, man. Come back here and train if you want to too.
Absolutely.
Oh, he's been here before.
Make another trip.
Oh, I thought you said come back here.
No, come train here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Me and Kurt only came that one time. We were supposed to have that fight, and then it got canceled.
I know, dude. He was supposed to fight down here. We talked about this, I think, last week on the show, that you were supposed to come down here and fight, but they canceled it, man. And it's like,
who's that going to be for again?
Warfare.
Yeah.
It got canceled.
Yeah.
That was the amateur days, wasn't it?
Amateur, that would have been my amateur fight.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Myrtle Beach?
Just that one time for that fight. But we really, Kurt was crippled then, kind of just hung out in the hotel room.
Yeah. Dorks, man.
I would love to see you interact. The way like you talk about Kurt, like it's almost, I would just love to see you two around each other. A night out on the town with DK and Kurt.
Yeah. Insane. It's good,
I've been feeling Francis has seen it.
No, Francis is too young to see it. Francis is too young to see.
He just probably saw the aftermath the next day, like in the gym.
Yeah, I didn't see. I've seen older Kurt get a little tuned up, but
well, man, it was good to talk to you, man. It's good to catch up with you, bro. And I'm excited for your future, dude. I'm excited to watch you grow. And I'm just excited to see what's next, man.
Man. Shout out your socials and all that good stuff.
Instagram is Francis Marshall 1, and then my Twitter is Fran Marshall MMA. I think there's 2 Twitters out there. One of them's not me though. Stole all my followers.
Oh man,
dang! Hey, that sucks. But is it kind of flattering?
Look for the blue check mark. Look for the blue check mark.
Got to pay for the blue checks now.
Oh,
yeah. You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, you could go on Instagram right now and pay. It's like $15 a month or something.
Yeah, I'm grandfathered in though. I got mine before they made it pay for on Instagram, so I'm good.
Wow,
nice.
You're legit.
Legit. I got the real one.
Yeah. Wow, man.
Well, hey, really appreciate it, man. Hopefully we'll get you back on in the future sometime.
Maybe
or
live, have you live down here.
Yeah, get you and Kurt to come down
You're always welcome, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we definitely got to make another trip. I'll talk to him
For
today.
sure. Yes.
Do it. Do it.
Cool.
You want to take us
Sweet.
out, DK?
All right, guys, man, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share. If you guys please follow Francis on social media and you know, stay up to date with us here. And we do a show every week. And yeah, that's it, man. Francis, I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Have a good one, brother.
You too.
All right.
Till next time.